pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ms. Rowley, roll call, please.
Ms. Grazia? Mr. Hamer?
Here.
Mr. Lowry?
Here.
Mr. Scholes?
Here.
Mr. Smolik?
Here.
Mr. Ziegler?
Here.
Mr. Fenstermaker?
Here.
Okay, on to the reading and approval of the minutes of September 6th, 2023 work session. Need a motion and a second?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Rowley?
Ms. Grazia? Mr. Hamer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Scholes?
Yes.
Mr. Smolik?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Minutes of the September 6th, 2023 council meeting. Any questions or changes? I need a motion and a second.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And okay. Ms. Rowley?
Ms. Grazia? Mr. Hamer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Scholes?
Yes.
Mr. Smolik?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler? Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Okay, on to department reports. Chief McAllister, looks like you're lonely over there.
Thank you, Council President Smolik. I got our monthly reports out. Everybody should have received that today. It's been a busy year. I was looking at kind of everything across the board, and we're up across almost every measurable statistic. A couple of events coming up for the police department. One is the Book Nook out here is complete. We were able to get everything installed, and it's ready for the community to come out if they want to bring their kids up. It's kind of geared toward elementary age kids. Free to take a book, drop them off if you'd like, and then we can share continued love for reading that way. We do have an event scheduled kind of as a grand opening. It's going to be Bone Soup. We're going to be doing a reading night here on October 14th at 4:30, where we'll have some food and games, fun. It's open to any community that wants to come out and enjoy. We just need you to RSVP on Facebook. We put a post up on there so you're able to go in. That way we can kind of get a head count and have an idea of how many are going to be here. Coming up at the Senior Center, we're going to be doing a threat awareness training on October 2nd. Just kind of talking to the seniors about things to look for in the event that somebody were to come in unexpected, how to handle different situations. And at the end of that, we're actually going to have Lieutenant Fisher come in. He's going to hopefully administer some community surveys to the seniors. We're trying to find ways that we can assist them better from a police department standpoint. We feel that they're kind of underserved in the purview of the community policing efforts we're making. So we want to make sure that we can identify any needs that they have and develop programs or things of special interest that would get us involved with them on that end. But that concludes my report, and I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, Chief. Under Mr. Courtney.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. We'll start off with 23 streets. Looks like Blueberry Hill and Fox Hill will see some more action this week, either Wednesday or Thursday. Still waiting on confirmation on which day. And we're still trying to get the pre-con set up with Colburton for Crestwood. Hopefully that'll happen here this week as well, but we'll see. Old Town Sewers, I spoke with the county last week. They indicated they're still a couple of weeks out from the final closeout of the contract, doing the final change order, so it's probably going to be another 2-3 weeks before any notices can go out to residents. Once that sewer is accepted, I'll repeat this again, once that sewer is accepted, residents in the phase 1 area will receive notices from the county. Tie-ins can take place. That letter will have specific instructions on the process and who to contact in the event of questions. So more to come on that. No updates on the bridge projects. Rockwood area stormwater basin, contracts have been signed by Eclipse. I got those back on Friday and got them all prepped, and they're in Joe's mailbox for signatures by the mayor, finance director, and law director. Contractor's preliminary schedule on that project has mobilization to the site on 11/24, and they're still saying it's only going to take about a week to do the job. So they're figuring they'll be done with their punch list and everything else by 12/8. So that's all I have for tonight. Happy to take any questions.
Real quick, we have a resident from Fox Hill I was speaking with before. Can you give a little bit more detail on when they're going to get over to Fox Hill? Or what the process is over there?
The process is going to be milling the pavement, making full depth pavement repairs after a proof roll when we identify the soft spots. The milling should take place Wednesday or Thursday. We want to do all the proof rolls for Blueberry Hill and Fox Hill in one day. And we don't want to leave Fox Hill open too long to traffic before we can get it repaired and covered back up. So I think beginning Wednesday or Thursday, it should be a pretty quick process on Fox Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Courtney. Any other questions for Mr. Courtney? Good back there, sir. Thank you. To Mr. Slepniker.
Thank you, Council President. The July and August end of month reports were released and posted to the website today. An update on the 2022 audit. We are nearing completion. They are coming out to wrap things up this week. I am going to be sending out an email to council. They have asked if council would like a post-audit meeting, so please look for my email tomorrow and respond whether you would like one or not. Some other upcoming items. Our 3-year agreement with the County Healthcare Consortium is expiring, so we're looking at different things going forward to control costs, provide good health care to our employees. But what we're seeing in the market is, some increases, some significant increases. So we just don't know where we're at right now, but, that will be something that will come across council's desk here. I did get an update for the appraisal. They are doing everything in their power to get that taken care of before the end of the year. And with that, we have our insurance renewal upcoming for our insurable values. We did have a meeting in Lyndhurst, actually. We saw some significant increases there as well. So, we have, looking at, the insurance market, in Florida, people have pulled out there. So we're just seeing, a lot of uptick in a lot of these costs. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Slepniker? You see, even with insurance costs on vehicles, like our vehicle type stuff too, I know I've seen it on, a lot of friends have had it even on their cars, 20%, 15%.
Yeah, we're going to see it on everything. We just don't know. But yeah, across the board.
Gotcha. Any other questions for Mr. Slepniker? Thank you. Mr. Lallo.
Mr. Council President, I don't have a formal report for you tonight unless you have questions for me.
Any questions for Mr. Lallo? Thank you, Mr. Lallo. Ms. Zeri, any updates with the community center / community center?
Good evening, everybody. Rolling along, it's obviously been very, very busy. I want to congratulate our chair volleyball team. We were invited out to Perry for a tournament, and I think we won every game. So a little bit of redemption against Perry last week, but obviously very grateful to them for being such wonderful hosts. They'll be joining us for an event in November. We had a wonderful Lake County Senior Services Coalition fundraiser, pancake breakfast on Saturday. So to all who attended and support the coalition, we thank you, especially to Mr. Fernaro. If you haven't gotten a chance to drive up to the community center, he decorated for us and took the time to, I asked him for a few bales of straw and he really outdid himself, and it looks wonderful. We've had a lot of families stopping and taking pictures, taking their fall pictures up at the community center. So there's a lot going on. Thank you again to the police department for coming in a few weeks to do our threat awareness training. That is open to the public. That's not just for seniors there's a lunch previous to that. So that is open to anybody. We'll be advertising that as well. Police service and fire are always in our building and with our seniors and part of our community. We're also going to be hosting a AED and hands-only CPR training with our fire department at the end of October. So we're very fortunate to have those collaborations. So thank you. So any questions, I am available.
Any questions from Ms. Seri? Thank you much. To you, Mayor Potter.
Thank you, Council President Smolik. First, I will say happy anniversary, 24th anniversary to my wife who's at home. Guarantee she's not watching this meeting. And she, after 24 years, didn't really have a problem with me not being home in the evening. But nonetheless, happy anniversary to her. Congrats to Officer Julia DeWolf. Had a chance a couple weeks ago, myself, Chief McAllister, as well as Ms. Seri, to go up to the Great Lakes Mall. Lake County Crime Prevention Task Force had given Julia an award for her efforts in community policing. And so just another congratulations to her. Shred Day, Mr. Fernaro did want me to mention, it's going to be October 21st at the community center. Teresa, I think Joe told me the times, but 8:30 to 11, does that sound about right? Thanks to Teresa for great work over at the community center on the weekend. The senior breakfast on her birthday, a significant birthday. She spent the day working here for the city of Kirtland, so thank you. It was I think by all accounts, it was a tremendous success that morning. We talked about utilities standing committee meeting coming up here on October 2nd. That was one of the things. And then the records commission, we did meet earlier this evening, and we do have an appointee. Thanks to Amy Buchanan, she always seems to be willing to step up and help in any way she can, and so she certainly did that by agreeing to being our community member on that commission. And then Ms. Seri will hold the role of secretary, so thank you to her as well. Other than that, I am open for questions.
Any questions for Mayor Potter?
Mayor, I think this year we have a contract for police and fire, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
And I should have directed it to you.
Oh, that's okay.
Or I know both of you guys are involved in it. Is there any opportunity that as the chair of the police and fire that I could be involved in that? I know that the charter gives direct.
So what I would recommend, because yeah, the charter gives the mayor the direct authority to negotiate and deal with CBA negotiations. What I think the mayor would be open to is probably, if anything, to have him meet with police and fire and the police and fire subcommittee in executive session to discuss any proposals or anything like that, and then go from there. But just to kind of brief you on it or whatever it might be. But yeah, I know for the mayor's authority role, that's that realm.
Yeah. And since it's not a signed contract, it needs to stay in executive.
Correct. And that's
Okay.
part of the, the give and take with the Open Meetings Act is if you have that subcommittee that wants to be there, that's an open meeting. And negotiations, correct. So, so that's one of the drawbacks of that. So that's why I think the way the charter and the statutes write it is that the mayor is permitted to meet with them and has the authority to negotiate with them to do that, because there's all of those off the record conversations with the negotiations. And then what he can do is he can brief council, whether it's the subcommittee, the standing committee, or council as a whole in executive session about those ongoing negotiations.
Have we, I don't know how much attention's been paid to other communities around, COVID bumped us that one year. Have our neighboring communities already started, or does everybody kick off this process kind of all at the same time?
They're all staggered. So some are in the middle of negotiations right now. Others are in year 1 or year 2 of their CBAs. So it's just everyone is different. Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to lead to the point where, you know, we've had a high inflationary period and trying to understand how that impacts our finances going forward.
Yeah,
I mean, Lewis just Mr. Slapnicker just mentioned some of the costs that we will see incurred in the insurance realm.
correct.
Payroll's a big portion of our budget.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other questions for the mayor? Mayor, you did mention, what day was the shred day? Answer?
October 21st.
10/21. And that also leads me to, get a date for the volunteer cleanup, you know, the yard cleanup thing that we kind of do.
November 11th.
November 11th.
11/11.
That's on Veterans Day, Joe?
I didn't have it on my calendar. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Teresa. Any other questions for the mayor? No. Pardon? That'd be fine.
Our community service day, our annual fall service day, we did meet about it today to confirm our times. We'll be on Saturday, November 11th from 8 to 11. We will be doing senior yard cleanup and veteran yard cleanup. We'll be meeting at City Hall. We also are pairing with Latter-day Saints and Divine Word and any other groups that want to join us to do different service projects around the city. And we will be from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and then we'll join together. I believe the American Legion has a Veterans Day ceremony planned for 11 o'clock. So we will encourage people to participate in that, and would love to have council and department heads join us for that day also. So 8 to 11 on November 11th. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eric. Okay, any other questions then for the mayor? Thank you. Okay, on to old business and public comments on agenda items of old business. Any public comments on the engine brake?
Mr. Council President, did you go through the public comments and matters not on the agenda?
Oh, sorry, missed that one, sorry. Actually jumped right over there, hold on. Standing committee reports, actually, we've got to go through that first. Standing committee reports, I turned in for Ms. Raleigh for our discussion on waste management. Was that last? I don't remember what the date was.
Last Saturday, the 9th?
Yeah, Saturday, exactly. And then we need to set up a utility committee meeting and then also a finance committee meeting, which we looked at, what, 5:30 for the utility committee meeting, Scott? Okay, 5:30, and then a 6:30 utility committee meeting pertaining to broadband to go over bids. Correct?
At 5:30
At 5:30,
on October 2nd.
October 2nd.
And then 6:30 will be Finance Committee.
Correct? Pertaining just general finances. 6:30. Scott, you're chairperson on the utilities, are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be in charge then.
Did we run that meeting?
He's brutally efficient. You got to go to one of his meetings. He's unreal. Okay. On to any correspondence, Denise? I didn't see anything in the packet.
No.
Okay. On to public comments on matters not on the agenda. Anything you have get off your chest? Thank you. On to old business. Public comments on the agenda items of old business. Once again, on to third reading of 23-050-0-58. Any comments on the ordinance pertaining to engine braking? Not at this time. Okay, on to ordinance number 23-0-58. An ordinance adopting sections 401.125 and 432.44 of the codified ordinances of the city of Kirtland regarding the prohibition of engine brakes within the city and declaring an emergency. This is a third reading.
Motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second.
Any questions? Ms. Raleigh?
Ms. Grazia?
Yes.
Mr. Hamer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Scholes?
Yes.
Mr. Smolik?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Okay. On to new business. Public comments on the agenda items of new business. Today's new business is Resolution 23-R-65, dealing with the waste management. No question at this time. That will go to a second reading. I believe we have Mr. Crawford also in today.
Pardon me, Joe, I had some questions.
Okay, no questions, no comments on,
You had a question.
okay.
Yeah, Joe, regarding some of the exhibits, I guess I was a little confused in trying to go through those.
I didn't read it through. I just asking for questions. I still have to read it.
Oh, pardon me.
Okay, I kind of jumped there.
That's my fault.
Finish with the public first. Okay, now we'll go on to resolution number 23-R-65. A resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the bid of Waste Management of Ohio and to enter into a 5-year contract for solid waste and recycling collection for the city of Kirtland. No, any questions? Mr. Schultz?
Thank you, Councilman.
Did you get the attachment from?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
I'm just trying to get through those. Is it the summation of all the different parts that causes Waste Management to be the lowest and best bid? Because from what I recall looking at prior meeting, it appeared as though Dumpster Bandit was
Correct.
$84,000 roughly
Correct.
less contract
per-
value over 5 years.
And per the service committee meeting, Mr. Fenstermaker, Mr. Hamer, and myself, service committee was recommending to go with, due to some advantages and with Waste Management and Dumpster Bandit not having any long-term, so to speak, contract with any municipalities, that we recommending going with Waste Management at this time.
So
I think you're getting to the point where legally, if they're not the lowest bidder, do we have to accept the lowest bidder? Is that what you're asking?
no, I couldn't determine that from the exhibit.
Okay.
Okay. And then when I saw lowest and best bid, then I just went off of what I recall from the last meeting. And then I because the minutes weren't shared as of yet because of timing with that committee, you know what I mean? I wasn't able to understand where you guys were coming from when the last, it was left with me, it was $80,000 more for the Waste Management. So I kind of wanted to understand what the
Correct, okay.
particulars were, and if somebody could walk through what I'm missing here in this exhibit
Ron, would you
to
like to, or would you like-
understand that.
Mr. Fenstermaker, would you like to, or would you like me to? Here you go, Ron.
So you guys voted out of that committee.
We voted out of that committee to stay with Waste Management. Number one, the impact was $1.21 per year. We voted to stay with Waste Management. First thing we talked about was the service equipment and innovations and things like that Waste Management provides to our residents that Bandit cannot. The trucks, the safety, lack of complaints.
Yes.
The cameras. We went through the whole spiel of what Waste Management continues to offer our residents. The automated thing with the phones, the billing, we talked about that. And then we talked about the net, Joe, this doesn't give it on here, but the net impact to our residents was $1.21 per year, or 63 cents a year.
63
The
cents.
first 3 years, Waste Management is cheaper. First 2 years.
63 cents per pickup, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just,
Yeah.
if you guys had multiple meetings, or when I looked at this, I couldn't ascertain that information.
Okay.
For me, I did it, broke it down by 2,700 households, and it was very de minimis. And then I thought of, they have an all-natural gas fleet, correct? So there's an environmental savings as well to the residents.
It approximated to 63 cents per pickup. $37 over the 5-year contract per customer.
Okay, and then everybody offered the 5% senior discount, and that needs to be applied for, senior being 65 and older. Okay, thank you.
Can we drop that down to 55? I qualify. Hold on, do we only have one senior on the council?
So this exhibit clearly shows,
39?
I couldn't figure out.
So there's another sheet that Joe sent us that gave us a summary of the information. and that's what we worked off of.
Okay.
So we got
But that's
that.
not, I don't think that's
what
part of
he-
the exhibit of the legislation, though.
No, that exhibit, go back up.
Didn't Joe's email go to all of council?
Pardon?
Didn't Joe's email go to all of council?
That is. That
I
is
did
in
not,
there.
I just gave,
Denise,
This was the
yeah,
first
no,
read,
it's on that.
Exhibit A, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this Excel sheet was Exhibit A. Or was it? I think this was scanned in. Like that was scanned in.
I also sent
The actual Excel sheet?
yes, because
To
I knew
make it
that would be
easier to
easier
read.
to read.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why, yeah. So that's what it is, but there's the Excel sheet that is attached to that email.
Okay, I'm looking at the PDFs.
Correct.
Without the grid lines.
Correct, yeah, because it's multiple pages and
It's sideways.
it's, yeah, turn it sideways.
A 9/7, the spreadsheet was sent to all of us.
So there's
Yeah,
your,
yeah. Saw that.
and this is the
And the
monthly.
20, that was 23, so Waste Management is our vendor this year. That's why that is populated.
That's the bid tabulation with dumpster bad, major,
Yeah.
Kimball, and waste.
Yeah.
That's the charges for year 5. I'm sorry, I'm zooming in and out.
Okay, so
So these are
oh,
these are
the
two-
cost aside, you gave the reasons for it.
Yes.
All right, thank you for your clarification.
No, I hope I did.
Because when I
that.
saw lowest and best bid, I was like,
Yeah.
did I miss something initially?
No, that's more like the legal term, lowest and best bid. So, because legally it doesn't need to be the lowest, but it needs, when considering all factors, that's the lowest and best.
Yep.
because both dumpster and Bandit and Waste Management were pretty similar to each other. We threw out Kimball and Major were 15 to 30% higher on their bid, so we had got it down to those two companies for the final bid.
Thank you.
Okay, that will be going to a second and third reading on that one, so. Got the third reading? Second reading, I should say. Okay, that brings us to council comments. Any council comments?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to address council and Matt. Matt, I'd like to propose and set in motion a plan or resolution to look forward in adopting term limits for city council members and the mayor. Can you help myself and city council maybe understand that process and how we move forward?
Sure. I mean, based upon my research, especially the way our charter is written, I would say that it would have to be a charter amendment. So council would have to pass an ordinance, which would then place it on the ballot to amend the charter. So that's how that would work. It would, without looking at the exact charter, whether it would be the primary election or the general election next year, but that would be the process. It would go to one of those two elections.
So do we put this into a committee to discuss it? Or do I just spread a proposal and share it with you?
You could have a committee do it and go from there. I would recommend reviewing what the Ohio Municipal League recommends and, maybe National League of Cities, I think that is. The major either statewide or national organizations that represent municipalities. And just kind of consider their research and recommendations on it as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Is there an existing committee that this should go under, or? Is it like a public relations?
I think that would just be council as a whole on something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if
actually.
that would fall into any of our committees.
Doesn't look like it.
Because public relations, I mean, no, that's,
I
Could
think that'd
assign a
be
special
council as a
committee.
whole.
huh?
The council president can assign a special committee.
Well, I would recommend that either all of council or a special committee, either one.
Well, it could be council as a whole as well.
I would
if
like,
you
yeah,
want.
council as a whole on something like that, so. You do a block of time after a meeting for something like that, Mr. Lallo?
It's whatever you want, so long as it's open to the public.
Mr. Lowry, would you like to maybe look at October 16th?
Yeah, I was gonna say October 2nd, that sounds like what we had.
Yeah.
So let's move to October 16th, yeah, either before,
Or November 8th?
well, October 16th, I think, just for time's sake. Okay. Either before the meeting or after, either one.
Okay, Mr. Lallo, this is exactly where this special committee or just an additional meeting as a council as a whole for after that meeting?
I'm trying to pull up the ordinances right now. Sorry if I can. My internet works. Yeah, so I'm looking in chapter 2 right now. Sorry. I'm not seeing it. Let me search it real quick. I just want to make sure we're doing it right.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. All right, 220.1. Okay, so it could be pursuant to 220.10, the president of the council shall appoint all committees of council, whether standing or special, and the mayor and president shall be ex officio members thereof. So, so that being the case, 220.12 is special committees for the consideration of special measures or matters or the performance of special legislative function may be appointed by president of council. So it would be a special committee pursuant to 220.12.
220.12?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I would assume that this committee would be to,
Pertaining to term limit, discussion on
correct,
putting term limits on.
committee to review term limits of council, or city term limits.
Okay, so then,
Correct me if I'm wrong. So if it's a general election, the city doesn't have a cost to place something on the ballot, correct? If it's a special election, the city bears a cost to do so.
Correct. Well, it wouldn't be a special election. It would be during either the primary election or the general election.
Okay.
So looking at charter amendments, it's Article 7 of our charter. And that's where it addresses where those go. And again, if this loads up. Yeah, it would be.
Mr. Lallo, would
Yeah.
maybe be a good idea to tentatively do that, then establish, meeting once we get all our ducks in a row, we're doing this
Well,
exactly.
you could establish the special committee now.
Okay,
And then, I mean, again, for the discussion, that like if it comes to fruition, that would be part of that discussion is when
Okay.
would that go on the ballot.
okay. So I'd like to establish a special committee as council as a whole to meet pertaining to
City term limits.
establishing city term limits. And we will shoot for October 16th?
16th, yep.
16th, after the meeting then? To follow? Sure. Or proceeding? Let's, to follow? Follow the meeting? Okay. So that'd be approximately 8:30, 9, depending on when that finishes.
And who's the chair?
I can appoint a chair then?
Yeah, Yes, according to 220.10.
Mr. Lowry brought it up. Would you like to be the chair?
Absolutely.
Was that? No, it's under his authority. He wants to be able to say.
Interesting. Major city center. Tournaments. 10 major city center. That's the only one that doesn't issue.
So we set with that, sir?
Big cities.
I'm sorry?
Are we set with that right now, sir?
No, yeah, I have nothing.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Raleigh, 10:16, following the meeting, special committee, chaired by Councilman Lowry, pertaining to term limits.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay. Any other council comments? Continuing concerns? Any continuing concerns? Okay, a motion for adjournment?
So move.
All in favor?
I second.